everyone. Welcome to the Aberdeen Township Workshop Meeting for Thursday, October 16th, 2025. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Government Meeting Act, notice to be given to the newspaper of record, posted in the municipal building, and filed with the municipal clerk. The next open public meeting of the Township Council will be held on Thursday, November 6th at 7:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cannon.
Here.
Councilman Urban.
Here.
Councilman Howard. Councilman Martucci.
Here.
Councilman Spadell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a busy night, Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it is October, and as normal, we do have awards and presentations for this evening. I know we're kind of going to go out of order just a little bit, but if the mayor and council, if you guys would please step down and stand on this side of the dais, please. Chief Boyd will come forward. Our first action for tonight is to swear in our Class 2 Officer, Demetrius Myers. Mayor and council, if you guys would stand on that end.
Good evening, everyone, again. For many years, I always say on evenings like this, I never feel safer than to have every one of you here with us tonight. It's a great occasion when we bring on a new officer, and I've lost count over my tenure. I was going to ask you today how many this would have been, but it's a very special occasion, and I thank all your brothers and sisters for being here today. So Demetrius, would you please join me a little bit closer? And of course have maybe mom or dad hold the Bible for you. You sir? Maybe mom could hold the police badge. Okay, you weren't going to get away with doing nothing. Okay, so maybe this nice and slow. There's no problem. We're going to look at it together, okay? You're going to repeat after me. I, Demetrius Myers,
I, Demetrius Myers,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold
that I will uphold
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established
established
in the United
in the
States
United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
Do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Special Law Enforcement Officer,
Special Law Enforcement Officer,
Class 2,
Class 2,
for the Township of Aberdeen Police Department,
for the Township of Aberdeen Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
their new uniforms. Good evening. On behalf of the Aberdeen Township Police Department, I'd like to welcome each of you to our police award ceremony. I'd like to begin by recognizing and thanking Mayor Fred Tagliarini, members of the Township Council, Township Manager Brian Russell, as well as the guests that have joined us for this evening. Your support and partnership are vital to the success of our department and the safety of our community. This evening is about recognition, recognizing our core values of integrity, courage, professionalism, and justice, and the unwavering commitment our officers demonstrate every single day. It's about celebrating those who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. We understand the oath that we take, that at any moment we can be called into the most difficult and dangerous situations. When the radio goes off, each call for service is different, and we often don't know what we may be facing. This profession is truly a calling. Only the select few have the strength, skill, and character to answer. I truly believe that we have some of the most highly trained professionals who deeply care about the community we serve. To the families and loved ones joining us tonight, thank you. Your support, patience, and understanding allow our officers to do what they do best, protect and serve our community. We know that behind every badge, there is a family that shares in the sacrifice. To the award recipients, congratulations. Your actions reflect the very best of our department and remind us all why we wear the uniform with pride. And finally, to every member of the department, sworn and civilian, thank you for your continued service, professionalism, dedication to the residents of Aberdeen Township. During the early morning hours of December 4th, 2023, members of the Aberdeen Police Department responded to a call for service involving 2 juvenile females. The 2 females were reported to be ringing doorbells asking for a place to sleep for the night. Through the initial investigations by the Patrol Division and the subsequent follow-up investigation by the Detective Bureau, the following was discovered. The 2 juveniles initially indicated that they were approached by a male subject at their request who drove them from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Aberdeen Township. They were not familiar with this subject prior to the incident. It was later learned that the 2 juveniles had ran away from their residence during the evening and were approached by this male subject who asked if they needed any assistance. The 2 then just asked for a ride to New Jersey. Somehow they made it to Aberdeen, not sure why. During the drive to New Jersey, the adult male made an inappropriate sexual contact with one of those juveniles. The detectives' further investigation and then discovered that the subject sexually assaulted the juvenile during the trip. The Detective Bureau was able to use this information that they received from the juveniles to then lure the subject back to Aberdeen Township, where he was ultimately arrested and charged. For the following actions during this investigation, I'm proud to present the following members of the Aberdeen Police Department's Department Citation. Sergeant Michael Montero. Detective Heather Ford. Detective Robert and CO2 Officer Michael Lee. On April 19, 2024, members of the Aberdeen Township Police Department responded to an incident of an aggravated assault, armed robbery, and carjacking. Through the course of this investigation, it was determined that the two victims were involved in an attempted narcotics transaction when the suspect produced a handgun. The suspect struck the driver with a firearm and temporarily strangled the passenger. He then demanded the victim's property and ordered the driver out of the vehicle. Once the driver exited, the suspect then entered the driver's seat and ordered the passenger to exit as well. The suspect then fled the scene in the victim's vehicle. Detectives interviewed the victims and were ultimately able to persuade the suspect to return the vehicle and then surrender himself to law enforcement. Following the suspect's arrest, a search of the recovered vehicle was conducted, which yielded narcotics, drug paraphernalia, a holster for a Glock handgun, as well as 30 millimeter caliber ammunition. The following actions, which led to the arrest of the accused and the recovery of the victim's vehicle, are proud to present the following members of the Aberdeen Police Department citation. Sergeant Bruce Monroe.
First and second, one night. He's getting three. Show. This is called a hat trick joke.
On September 4th, 2024, members of the Aberdeen Township Police Department responded to a motor vehicle collision involving a pedestrian who had been struck by a vehicle. Upon arrival at the scene, officers determined that that vehicle had fled. Officers immediately rendered aid to the injured pedestrian and initiated efforts to locate the fleeing vehicle. A comprehensive and coordinated investigation was undertaken by the members of the Traffic Safety Unit, Patrol Division, and Detective Division. Following a thorough and lengthy investigation, the operator of that vehicle was identified and subsequently charged in connection with the crime. I'm going to break from the script here. An update as of yesterday, the accused subject who was arrested was sentenced to 3 years in state prison. Through their actions which led to the identification and arrest of the accused driver, I'm proud to present the following members of the Aberdeen Police Department's Citation Award. Sergeant Raymond Campbell. On December 3rd, 2024, members of the Aberdeen Police Department responded to a call for service involving a subject who had committed an act of self-harm. Upon arrival, officer located the individual who was bleeding heavily from both his arms and legs. Officers immediately rendered life-saving aid and engaged with the subject, who was alert and conscious at the time. Given the extreme severity of the injuries, officers applied tourniquets to each of the subject's limbs, effectively controlling the bleeding. The swift and decisive actions of the responding officers undoubtedly saved the subject's life. For their actions, which led to the survival of the subject, I'm proud to present the following members of the Aberdeen Police with the Life Saving Award. Sergeant Bruce Monroe. On the evening of May 3rd, 2025, members of the Aberdeen Police Department responded to a 911 call for a male subject experiencing suicidal ideations. Upon arrival, officers located the subject in his garage, armed with a handgun, pointing it at himself. Patrolman Maizano made initial contact with the subject and was able to establish a rapport. While Officer Maizano engaged in dialogue with the individual, Patrolman Nicholas DeRocha provided overwatch to ensure Officer Maizano's safety. Sergeant Monroe and Patrolman Colombo assisted by offering negotiation support and began gathering background information on the subject. Additional officers secured the scene, established a safety perimeter, evacuated evacuated nearby residents and ensured that children that were playing in the immediate area or in the immediate vicinity were removed safely from the area. After nearly an hour of negotiations, the subject voluntarily surrendered his firearm and exited the location without incident. For their actions during the incident, I am proud to present the following members of the Aberdeen Police Department with the Meritorious Service Award. Sergeant Bruce Monroe, that does conclude our award ceremony for the evening. I just want to thank everyone for attending. I look forward to seeing you next year as we continue to highlight the work of our officers and department.
Guys, I asked the chief to hold you guys for a couple minutes. We have two more awards, kind of switching off from the police department awards for our 25 years of dedicated service. 25 years of service are being awarded tonight to Chief Matthew Lloyd, Catherine Molius, and Sean Ramsey. It is truly an honor to stand here tonight as we celebrate these remarkable milestones. 25 years of dedicated service to the township of Aberdeen. 25 years is more than a career milestone. It's a lifetime of commitment, integrity, and leadership. From their very first days on patrol, to the office, or on the street, they have embodied what it means to represent the township with honor. Today, on behalf of the mayor, town council, and myself, we thank them for their service to the township of Aberdeen. Please step forward, Chief Matt Lloyd. Chief Lloyd began his career in 2000 as a part-time dispatcher and then became full-time in May of the same year. Then in July of 2002, Chief Lloyd was hired as a full-time police officer where he rose through the ranks to his current position as chief, where he commands 42 sworn officers, 2 special class 2 officers, and 4 clerical staff. Congratulations. Is Catherine Molius. Please step forward. Catherine's kind of strange, so I'm just going to go back to Katie. Okay? Katie started as a part-time clerk in the police department, where she then became the full-time police records clerk. Katie then became the deputy municipal court administrator, and then in May of 2018, she transferred to the detective bureau as their secretary, where today she handles her day-to-day clerical duties. Congratulations. Our last employee for tonight. Our last employee for tonight couldn't be here this evening is Sean Ramsey. Sean became a full-time employee in the Department of Public Works in the Streets and Roads Division in 2000. And Sean has had many different job titles and job duties in the DPW to present to his present title of heavy equipment operator. Everyone knows that we had our eraser last weekend, and Sean actually was supposed to be on vacation, and he actually changed his vacation to work on Monday to help with storm cleanup. So he had to change his vacation one extra day, and that's why he's not able to be here tonight. So we do appreciate him for all his hard work and dedication. But I also want to thank all the officers that are here tonight too, our firemen and our EMS and our OEM division. The storm was a little more than we expected. We had a lot of tidal flooding. Luckily, not too many trees down this time, but the flooding was enough. But a lot of these guys that are here tonight worked the overnight, worked during the day, along with the fire department. I know they were manning their stations that evening as well to make sure that the town stayed safe. And again, to myself especially, because I was up most of the night listening and making sure that we had all the necessary equipment ready to go. But Mayor and Council, we want to thank all of you tonight for all your hard work the past weekend, and thank you very much and always being there when we need you guys. So appreciate it.
Mr. Barkley, you are dismissed.
Wait.
Tonight is Uniform Services Night, from police to now fire. And we're going to read a proclamation presented to both firehouses on Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Township of Aberdeen is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our township. Whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, lithium-ion batteries in your home, serves us to remind us of the importance of using, charging, recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. Whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risks. Whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, and laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat and start a fire or explode. Whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safety use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery fires. Whereas lithium-ion batteries store a large amount of energy in a small space, and improper use such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certification, or exposing batteries to damage can result in fire or explosion. Whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards, reduce fire risks in our own community. Aberdeen's first responders are dedicated to reduce the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. Now, therefore, I feel thankful to the Mayor and Township of Aberdeen on behalf of this incredible council of mine, do hereby proclaim October 5th to the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout Aberdeen, and urge all residents and visitors to be aware of their surroundings, engage in fire safe practices, and support the many public safety activities in the Township Fire Districts during Fire Prevention Week. It's going to be a great pleasure to present a proclamation to both our firehouses. And gentlemen, I always tell you, we've got some here that no matter what time of day or night, everyone knows what residents. Totally adapt to all of it. So I'd like to present this to both firehouses. My congratulations. I'm sure the council will have
Stay safe. Find the speech. Let's keep it in there. Who does care what's there, right? There's some of us. None of us.
They haven't met us. Young guys. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Watch already on my little picture.
educated women about early breast cancer detection. And whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer by collaborating with several national public service organizations, professional associations, and government agencies who work together to ensure that the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is heard by thousands of women and their families. And whereas nearly 300,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and 1 in 8 women in America will be diagnosed with the disease in their lifetime. And whereas through research and advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including significant decreases in mortality. And whereas the 2.9 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States are a testament to the courage as well as to the importance of promoting awareness, providing information, funding research, following recommended screening guidelines, and offering treatment to those who are affected. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Township Council, Fred Taglerini, Mayor of the Township of Aberdeen, does hereby proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and asks all citizens to honor those who we have lost, offer strength to those who continue to live with breast cancer, and work to protect the health of future generations.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, and final proclamation tonight. Executive order directing of the municipal Halloween curfew. Whereas the time of Halloween is traditionally a period when our children enjoy the pleasure, and certainly adults also, the pleasure of trick-or-treating should carry every protection to ensure their enjoyment. Whereas the residents of Aberdeen Township should have the pleasure of contributing and enjoying the children's celebration. And whereas the residents of Aberdeen Township at the same time should be assured that their properties and well-being are protected. So now, therefore, I, Fred Taglerini, Mayor of the Township of Aberdeen, on behalf of this great council, do hereby declare that for the evenings of Thursday, October 30th, 2025, and Friday, October 31st, 2025, curfew is extending to all children under the age of 17, being and is hereby established beginning at 8:30 p.m. and ending at 6 o'clock a.m. the following morning, and that this curfew is subject in every way to the provisions of enforcement contained in the adopted and amended curfew ordinance. Signed today, I'll give it to our police chief, and that's it. Business for now. Mr. Manager, you want to go to the supervisors?
Okay, before we do that, we just have one more presentation for this evening. I know we talked about it a lot, but I can say that the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're real happy that tonight our coastal engineer, Joe Rafferty from Colliers Engineering, is here to present to Mayor and Council an update for the Cliffwood Beach project. And here you'll start to see more timelines of work being done. I mean, there's already been some testing and everything's working on the beachfront already, but tonight's a big night because tonight we can finally show some of the finished product that was done. And after this evening, me and Joe are now working on dates to start doing, start having presentations down, most likely here and at the community center, so residents will see more of the project as well and see what's going on. Again, talking about the nor'easter, there was another good round of beach erosion and flooding and sand on the road. And the DPW worked tirelessly on Sunday and Monday to get that cleaned up and put sand back where it needed to be. But again, this project will finally stop that. And again, I know we talked about it, but it's not easy. And Joe can also extremely attest to this. It's not easy working with the federal government, the military, state government, especially the state DEP. Because most of this, the reason why we are down at this point is because getting permits are not the easiest application to get for beachfront. So again, I turn this over now to Joe Rafferty, our coastal engineer, and council, you can save any comments or questions from Joe's side.
Thank you, Manager, Mayor, Council. Appreciate the time tonight. I know it's a busy night. I do have a brief agenda that I'll go through, but I promise this is an informative presentation and then for questions from you guys to give you as much information that I can at this time. A lot's changed since the last time I was here.
Bring it up.
Okay, sorry, a little tall. All right, so just want to thank Mayor, Council, Manager for the opportunity to give an update here on the Cliffwood Beach project. So I believe I was here over the summer, and we're still waiting waiting for a lot of information. So here, I'll quickly go through an agenda that I have, where basically recapping the project need, description and goals, how we're getting funding for this project, where we are from permit status, what the proposed improvement plan is, as well as, cross-section for proposed improvements, anticipated timeline of construction, and imagery of similar designs that have been in construction. Is this too much? No. Oh, for me, it sounds really okay, perfect. Okay, that'll just keep going. And then finally, questions from the days. So, Cliffwood Beach has been under duress, as you know, from this previous project. And this is easier because I don't really screen over here. But numerous instances since we got involved in 2022, the beach has further deteriorated to a point where it's unpassable whenever you guys have a king tide, full moon tide, and when you have a high wind event, it just complicates things really more. The historical features of this beach go back to the 1960s and then the 1970s. Me and Brian did research where basically the last beach fill was in 1982. It was going to be listed on the Army Corps beach fill rotation that you probably see in Ocean County, but because of discrepancies between what the state wanted to do and what the federal government was requiring at that time, we're talking in the 70s and 80s, basically the DEP came in, did a one-time beach fill, and the beach has been eroding ever since. So what's our description of our project? We're going to place groins, beach fill, which is key to basically push back the mean high and mean low water line. Right now, when we did our topographic survey, our bathymetric survey, which is when you're out in the water, so if you saw our team out there, they literally were in waders getting topographic survey all the way out to the seawall and 100 feet beyond that. Basically, right now, when you have a low tide, it's really close to the road. A high tide's even closer. Our goal is to push it back to the way it was in the 1970s and the 1980s. And for those that might not think it's possible, I have photos that show what the basis of our design was. So the key thing for a project of this size, because usually you hear about it down in Ocean County, is where's the funding coming from. I mentioned earlier, Army Corps isn't paying for this. So through a partnership with Naval Weapons Station Earl, Monmouth University as the sponsor, the Township of Aberdeen, and my firm, Colliers Engineering Design, we applied and acquired $260,000 that is basically got us to this point where we were able to do preliminary design, conceptual design, and permitting to basically prove that what we want to do is going to work, and we've answered the bell to every question and concern from the DEP. So in 2025, we entered into phase 4 negotiations, which is construction, inspection, administration, and activities. We requested upwards of $5.6 million from the Department of Defense, which is not subject to federal cuts that are happening in other programs. This is codified money that is available through the Department of Defense. So we're happy to report that as of October 2nd, we got word that there is funding available for the township in the manner of $2.8 million. It may be a little bit more. The unofficial word that I got in as recently as this past week was that in fiscal year 2025, which means the next 6 to 9 weeks, there's going to be $2.5 million allocated towards this project for construction, boots on the ground activity. Fiscal year 2026 will be an additional $500,000 for ideally project closeout. And I know that our team is actively looking at other opportunities to further reduce the township's burden by getting matching grant opportunities for the delta between the 5.694 and the possible $3 million coming from Department of Defense funding. So at this time, from a permit status, DEP permits are activated. October 1st, 2024, I'm sorry, that should be actually, no, 2024, we got them last year. So since we got the DEP permits last year, we have 5 years to do this project, which is not a problem. The issue is once we got DEP permits, we've had to go to Army Corps. In many parts of the country where we don't have a strong DEP, the Army Corps is the benchmark for environmental protection. Here in Jersey, we have possibly the strongest, if not California, strongest DEP from a regulatory standpoint, as Brian mentioned. So now Army Corps basically, we apply for the permit, it's kind of a standard operating procedure, we don't hear from them, yada, yada, yada. We're going to be activating this project. So once we have a final from Army Corps, we know that we'll be good to go. So going back to what I was referencing was the historical imagery when we first started this project. This is the last satellite imagery that's clear. It gets very grainy, but basically this is 1995. So what you can see in comparison to 2025 is what we call the critical zone, which is the edge of the seawall. So the goal pretty much in our meetings with DEP is to bring the beach back to a manner of where it was in 1985. What you're seeing even in 1995 is the sand pushing and being washed away. So that design was simply throwing sand and then not having any preparation for wave action. So what we're proposing through our design, which has been actually implemented in other coastal parts of the country with great success, is to put in oyster castles along with breakwaters to break up that energy. Sandbags on steroids. We're going to be putting in jetties, that groins, what have you, that will break up so that you don't have that long attenuation of energy hitting ocean boulevard. Then within there will be various coves from a living shoreline standpoint so that you can have a natural vegetative growth that again will create roots and be almost like mini dunes. Then along the critical zone, we're reestablishing the dune that was there in the late 2000s with vegetation and walkovers. And within that, there's going to be a repaired road behind the dune that will allow for access and a walkway that we're establishing to get up to the seawall. So this is one of the key features of the dune that wasn't done back in the 1980s. When the beach fill was done, there's going to be basically weighted operational groin underneath it that's going to act as if the sand does get washed away, that there's going to be an anchor to hold the dune in place. It's basically a hidden wall underneath the dune. So this is one of the features that the Army Corps has required to be basically applied for these larger projects. And even though this isn't an Army Corps project, we are using the guidelines so that when we go from a regulatory standpoint, they understand that we are designing to the highest level for beach protection. So as far as an anticipated project timeline, which I know everyone's anxious, we're finishing our design. At this point, we basically have a few items left to confirm with the Army Corps once we get their final blessing. We are going to put out our bid documents by the end of this year, ideally, and then basically be advertising the project with an award, hopefully in early January 2026. And then, again, we have funding that's going to be allocated for this year, $2.5 million. The success of these programs is that you don't sit on the money, you spend the money. That keeps the programs alive. So they're trusting the township, they're trusting our firm to get this project moving because they want to show that, hey, this is an active shovel-ready project that's going to show results and show protection. So we're looking to get this going in the new year. And then, as I mentioned, that this is a project, if you Google Yorktown, Virginia, this is some of the resident imagery that when we were talking with Naval Weapons Station Earl and Monmouth University's Coastal Institute, for ideas that we think can work here. So as you can see here, these natural coves almost establish mini beaches versus having one long beach. This will allow for nature to assist, not just be a structural solution, but be a natural solution, so that we would be able to sustain for future storm events while reestablishing the beachfront that Cliffwood has done. If there's any questions, I'm happy to discuss any items that you may have.
Anyone from council?
So we had, historically, we had drawings in and out into the back. But that's no longer the standard, this sort of show castle. Basically, they created basically straight beach in the past.
Yes, based on what we're looking at, what we refer to as the fetch, you have basically along, say, Monmouth County and Ocean County, you have the linear groins that will capture and keep the sand from going to the next area. But what you have is such an onslaught that the idea is to put up the groins at 45-degree angles, almost like a seagull's wings, if you will, that will break up the water and then allow the water to come in through the coves, establish living shorelines in that area that again will also break up the energy and enhance the environment. So that's kind of the change in philosophy. It used to be typical again that they went with groins, and now we're seeing that this is kind of what's being the most successful in troubled areas.
I do have a question. So, when you start this project, how long do you think it will take before it will actually be completed? Or is this something that will be completed?
Ideally, once we hit the ground running, it's going to be availability of materials, the groins, and then final designations for basically any regulated work restrictions in water activity. So once we have that kind of figured out with Army Corps and we know exactly what we can do, we can release an updated schedule. But this type of project with this amount of work, it's going to basically be establishing the waterfront work and then working backwards with the beach fill. So it could be like 6 to 8 months, possibly sooner. You know, it depends on how many crews and what type of mobilization. Some very, very large firms I've worked on with these type of projects, they throw everything at it, and unfortunately it means that it's some contractor. It could be a smaller operation. So that's what there's a lot of variables on the construction front alone.
All right. Thank you, Joe, I appreciate it. Again, we are going to work on dates so we can roll this out more township-wide. But again, I think for mayor and council, this is we're again getting, again, like I said, light at the end of the tunnel. And it's been a long time coming, but I'm very confident that we're getting there. And Joe's been doing a great job getting this moving and keeping it rolling. So finally, we're going to see some more work down there. So I appreciate it.
You got it.
With your permission, I'd just like to acknowledge a couple of people. The first being Pat Noble. You want to give me a timeline when we met with Earl Webber? I think those two gentlemen have retired by now.
Yeah.
So Pat, you did a lot of work for us in the early days, and I wanted that to be acknowledged, and I want to thank you again for getting the ball rolling. So good job. And our former information officer, Mr. Roman, welcome back. He's on a special assignment on this project. We want to thank you for taking all those shots from 95 and 85 and up to the minute. So thank you for all the work that you put into this also.
Okay, so moving on. Sorry, we're still in workshop. Resolutions for is awarding the DPW routine emergency repair to B&W Construction. This is our roads company that does work for us for emergencies or work that DPW is beyond our scope. Item 97 and 98 are Chapter 159s to be inserted in the 2025 budget. These are grants that came in after the budget was adopted by the state and or by you and then the state. These are local recreation improvement grants for 2024 and 2025. Resolution 99 is certification of the best practices and submission for the public meeting. So, I know, I'm a little winded sometimes, but if everyone does remember, the best practice inventory is done on a yearly basis from the Department of Community Affairs to Local Government Services Division. Best practice inventory is given out to all municipalities through which the state obtains vital information about status of municipal government party practices in New Jersey. The 2025 inventory assesses each municipality's compliance with various laws and evaluates the implementation of our fiscal and our operational best practices. It's a partial, it's not 100%, but if you don't comply with the best practices or you don't fulfill the requirements of the state's number of best practices, they will withhold your state aid from 10%, 20%, 75%, or sorry, 50%, 75%. This year, best practice inventory features new and repeated questions on the following topics. There were questions about the budget, capital projects, emergency services, environment, ethics, financial administration, insurance, lead remediation, opportunity zones, personnel, procurement, redevelopment, shared services, technology, transparency, and utilities. There was a total of 70 questions distributed throughout the scoring categories. Core competency, which is the biggest portion of the surveys, where a lot of the grading is coming from. There were 37 questions on that. The best practices section were 13 questions, and that's more like the bonus points that you get. And then there are over 20 questions that are unscored surveys, and then they divide into other subparts to that. The core competency addresses our statutory and regulatory compliance obligations and the areas of critical and sound municipal finance and administrative operations. And out of the 70, we had 40, our current score is 41 in the core competencies, which I look very seriously and closely at with our staff. And it's not just one person working on this, it does filter through the finance office or CFO. As I read a lot of those different titles off, things go to our QPA, there's questions that I have to answer, Eric has to answer, our Director of Planning and Zoning Development have to answer. There are questions that Sean has to for technology questions. So it's a team effort. It's not just one or two people doing it. It's a process. I think, from when Joe sends it out, when you see the subject line, everyone starts to freak out because even in the managers, we have our question boards that we reach out to our association. As soon as the state sends this out, everyone's in an uproar because of the questions or the repeat questions, or they may have changed the numbering of that. Now you have to get more than 32, which is the lowest you can get for 100%. So like I said, we hit 41, so again, there's no withholdings of any state aid for us, which is fantastic. At least I know for the 5 years I've been here and previous administration, there was no state aid withheld from the township. In the core competencies, we actually hit 36 of the 37 questions. And I think that, again, a great thing for us. Some of the core competency questions or categories that they had were under budget, capital projects, procurement, personnel, utilities, lead remediation, finance administration, shared services, and many others. So again, we're real happy about this. And we're also ahead. It's actually due October 25th, so we wanted to make sure we got it on for tonight's meeting. If not, it goes to the next available. But we were on time for this, and we'll get it in. So again, we appreciate the staff, Joe especially, that worked real hard on this and make sure that everything was correct. And then for all of us that had a good review after we sent in our comments. And I do have, one more. We were doing this today, this came again through finance and especially the tax office. We're asking to put a resolution authorizing the Township of Aberdeen to adopt a discretionary property tax grace period extension during the federal government shutdown. This came through the state again. This is to help with, this is a grace period for taxpayers or the taxpayer's spouse, civil union partner, domestic partner of either an employee of the federal government agency who was furloughed because of the government shutdown and receives unemployment benefits during the shutdown, or who works during the shutdown but is not paid because of the shutdown, or a contractor whose pay is received through a contract with a federal government agency, but whose payment is delayed or diminished because of the shutdown, provided that the contractor receives unemployment benefits during the shutdown. So I'm asking if the council is in agreement, and if you have questions, I can try to answer, or the tax collector is also here, to have this pass tonight and to be implemented if the shutdown continues, and residents that need to pay that are federal government employees have that option if they would like to so ask for the grace period.
Let me just do an informal roll call. Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cannon?
Yes? Yes? Yes,
Yes.
okay, so it's unanimous that this council is for that, and the chair will make that a motion in the regular meeting, and we'll add that to our list of work to be done.
Thank you.
That's it, sir?
That's it. If you have any questions, I will answer them as well.
Can I have a motion to leave workshop to go into the regular meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Welcome to the Aberdeen Township regular meeting agenda for Thursday, October 16, 2025. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meeting Act. A notice was given to the newspapers of record, posted in the municipal building, and filed with the township clerk. The next open public meeting of this township council will be held on Thursday, November 6th, 2025 at 7:30. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cannon.
Here.
Councilman Hunt.
Here.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Here.
Councilman Swindell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Here.
Mayor Taglieri.
Yes, thank you very much. We all please rise for a moment of silence and then we'll salute to our great flag. And keeping a tradition, we always keep in mind men and women in uniform who protect us on our soil and foreign soils. It's for us to have meetings such as this tonight. I'd like to also give you a few moments for your own personal intentions that you might have. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please sit. I'd like to now open the agenda to number 4, which is the hearing of the citizens on agenda items only. So does anybody like to come up and be heard about something that's on the agenda tonight? Now's the time to do so. Not seeing anyone coming up, I'll ask for reports. And I guess the only two that I'll start with is, and I wish you guys were still here, Tuesday, October 21st, here at Town Hall, we have our traditional honor and annual firefighters memorial service at 7 p.m. when we respect and have those two great firehouses here with us on that day. So keep that in mind if you'd like to join us. And I have to look at today's date and the next meeting's date and realize that there's an important date between now and the 6th, and that's election day. And the only thing political I will say on this bench, in the words of a former great mayor, is that just go out and vote. That's as political as I'm going to get. Let's keep this system alive. This is a great country we live in, and it's our obligation to go out and vote whoever you like, but please vote. So we'll see you after the election of the 4th. Anyone else up here want to say something? Deputy Mayor.
So on Saturday, which is the 18th, from 5 to 8 at Cambridge Park, we're going to be having a bonfire bash, which brings back memories of old. What? Oh, I was wondering. Okay. With these glasses on, I didn't know what that was. But at any rate, it's going to be a great night. And we have Screaming Broccoli, and the lighting will be at 6:30. And yeah, I said it's at Cambridge Park. Everybody knows where Cambridge Park is, at the Lloyd Road School. And there are going to be inflatable attractions for the kids, food trucks, of course the bonfire, the light of the night, music, dancing. Sounds like a great night. So please come out and enjoy and spread the word. Thank you to everybody who put this together, Brian and the whole crew. Thank you guys. Couldn't do it without you.
Anyone else?
I have a program.
Please.
So I had a serious one and then a silly one. So I'll start with the serious one. So I just wanted to say that I'm happy to see that all the living hostages are home from Gaza. Every time we ride past the thumb every day on the way to work, I see all the flags that have been out there for like almost 2 years, on and off. And so that's a really, I think that's something that we can all celebrate everywhere in the whole country with, I just think that's important to say. We've had moments of silence up here for the hostages and stuff, and so that was terrific. It was really heart-touching if everyone watched that, so I just wanted to mention that. So that was my serious note. And then on a more silly note, the police beat the crap out of our DPW teams. Last Friday night, they scored almost 40 runs because they just don't stop hitting. We caught some of them, but most of them we didn't. Our team put up a valiant effort and we made it a football score, so it was like 39-21 or something. We hit too, but just not as hard or as often as the young, strong police officers with their weight room back there. So we might have to talk about a weight room at the DPW. We'll have to talk about that at some point. But in any event, it was a lot of fun, and we had a good time, and it's really a good community night, and getting along with a lot of our employee appreciation and stuff like that. So I had a great time, a few beers, and we didn't win. The trophy went back to the police department again, unfortunately.
There you go.
Congratulations to our police.
Oh, we were watching you.
I actually expected them to bring the trophy in tonight and put it over here during the award ceremony, but they were very tactful because there were some serious stories. But it was a lot of fun.
The question for the evening for us in the peanut gallery was, what inning? What's the score? And eventually it came down to, it was a lot to not enough. So that's what we kept hearing every inning. So, but you're certainly right, Councilman. It was a fun night, and it's a great night to come out, which is yourselves. Any other reports from council?
I just want to make one mention, please, for anyone who has not put their New Jersey Stay application in, the 31st is the deadline. We have a lot of seniors who have not. If you know a senior, just ask them, and if they need help, there's lots of help out there. But, you can get as much as $6,500. I mean, you should really put in, unless you've made over $500,000 in the last year, then you're not going to get that money. But God bless you if you did, but if not, you should absolutely fill out that application. So please, if you know a senior, please make sure you just check on them and make sure they got that application in.
Well said. Anyone else? Okay. What I'll do now is ask Councilman Hirsch for a motion.
Yes, Mayor Taglerini, Deputy Mayor Montone, and my fellow councilmen would like to make a meeting. I motion to accept the minutes from workshop, regular, and executive meetings of September 18, 2025.
Second. Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, what we're going to do here is, on my paper, I have a 6B. I don't think you folks do, but if you'd like to just add it, 6B will be the chair making a motion to put on the agenda now what we just talked about in the workshop, which is resolution number 2025-100, a resolution authorizing the Township of Aberdeen to adopt discretionary property tax grace period extension during the federal government shutdown. Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Good. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes, thank you very much. Councilman?
Yes, Mayor and fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the amended consent agenda, which consists of resolutions 2025-96 through 2025-100, as well as raffle licenses RL 1334 and 1335.
Second.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Swindell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Montal.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes, thanks very much. Now we'll have this up to number 8, hearing of the citizens on anything that might be on your mind. If there is something on your mind that